Welcome to the Black Liberation.Tech Podcast, brought to you by Jordan Nuance LLC and hosted by Dr. Renee Jordan. This podcast is a accumulation of Dr. Jordan's dissertation work and her passion for empowering Latinas, Afro-Latinas, Black women, and girls to navigate the academic and professional worlds with confidence and success. Whether you're a mother or guardian guiding a child through grades 6 through 12, an undergrad or grad student, someone working on a dissertation or thesis, or simply looking to carve out your niche in the career landscape, this podcast is for you. Each episode, Dr. Jordan shares her story, offers invaluable advice, and provides practical coaching to help you thrive in school, work, and beyond. Join our community on patreon.com/Black Liberation.Tech and become a member for as low as $5 per month. As a member, you'll gain exclusive access to live recordings, impromptu academic and career coaching, and a network of like-minded individuals committed to mutual support and success. You're also welcome to follow Black Liberation Tech on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and LinkedIn, or Black Lib Tech on X, formerly known as Twitter. Visit black-liberation.tech for even more information on Dr. Jordan's adventure in Inglés o Español. Tune in, get inspired, and let's embark on this journey together. Welcome to Black Liberation.Tech, where your success story begins. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Black Liberation.Tech Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Renee Jordan, and I'm here to talk about another side to the story. And this is a recap or reflection of a blog post that I did back in October 2017. And at this point, I had just completed my third conference presentation, and I was gearing up for a fourth presentation. And during that time, I actually had a chance to speak with my niece, and she was a new assistant chef on a Norwegian Cruise Line that cruised Hawaii. And so I would text her like I did with my niece who was at Morgan State to keep in touch and see how she was doing and talk to her. I'm going to go ahead and read this blog post because I think it has important information that I want to make sure that I get across clearly without missing anything. So here I go. I had my third conference presentation this year on yesterday in Augusta, Georgia. I presented at the Georgia Educational Research Association 2017 conference. The title of the conference was Knowledge to Action, Achieving the Promise of Equal Education. The title of my presentation was Another Side to the Story, Middle School Students Collaborating in an After-School ICT Enrichment Program. ICT stands for Information and Communication Technology. During the presentation, I talked about how students work together during the program. I received good feedback from those who attended the session on what they liked, what they saw as hindrances, and what I might do moving forward. One attendee also provided a good idea on what I could do that would address the possible hindrances to the program, and I plan on putting it on my dissertation to-do list. I also moderated 2 other sessions after my presentation. I like learning about what others are doing. It helps me to make connections with people and my research as well. On Monday, I text my other niece. She's an assistant chef on a cruise line in Hawaii while I was preparing for this conference and getting ready for another one that happens next week. I liked our conversation and asked her if I could share it, and she said yes. So this is the text conversation between me and my niece. Hi, how are you? My niece, hey, I'm good, getting better at my job. Me, yay, I'm glad to know it. I learn more and more about my job each and every day. Next week, I go to a conference just to learn about rules and regulations because there are so many to follow. Niece, yes, same here. Me, I present at a conference on Friday to share what I'm learning with my research with my advisor and to find out what others are learning through their research. I like to learn. There is always something to learn and different ways of learning. It is important to know how you learn best and ways of incorporating that in your learning experience. Niece, yeah, you're right. It's frustrating sometimes, but you feel better about it and get confidence once you understand the new info. Me, yep. Learn to accept that you don't know it all, or at least all the ways of doing something, that no one knows it all. You get better the more you know, and you are better when you know more, even more ways of doing the same task, because you have options to refer back to / choose from. Just keep swimming. I learn information best by listening, reading, and taking notes. I learned how to do something best by doing the task myself, opposed to being shown how to do it. To figure out how you learn, reflect on the things that you know the most and how you went about learning those things. Then try to repeat those actions in areas that you are not familiar or struggling and see how much you learn. Happy learning. So that was my blog post. The reason I'm calling this another side to the story is because usually educators are the ones writing the articles. They're saying what happened. They're the ones deciding what happens inside the classroom in terms of how they go about teaching material. But you as a student, you actually can empower yourself by not limiting yourself to how your teacher, faculty member, professor, whoever is instructing you. You have options. Yes, that is your instructor. Yes, they are going to assess your knowledge, but they do not determine the only ways that you go about learning information in a class. You do have options, and better than options, you have knowledge about yourself. What worked for you? How can you use what worked for you in the class that you're having problems in? There are tons of resources online. There are people who present information in different ways. There are even activities and projects and problems that you can solve on your own so that you can take a hold of your learning experience and decide how you go about reinforcing the information that you need to know as it relates to your different classes. So that's the other side to the story. One of the challenges with learning within a professional setting is that it's really up to you to figure out how to apply the new knowledge. So while you're at school, you're practicing, you're taking tests, you're getting graded on it. Perhaps if you're doing something like in a lab or you're cooking, you have practicums where you actually have to demonstrate by doing the lab, identifying the different features of the steps that you're taking and how they impact the outcome or the results of what you're producing, whether it's in a lab or in a kitchen. When you learn as a professional, you're setting yourself aside as an expert in your field. And so that allows others to recognize what you're doing to add to what others know in the field. So when I present in a conference, I'm sharing the work that I'm doing and I'm enhancing what others know, even challenging what they know at times. It's important to continue to learn as you go. The reason for that is you need to be able to adjust and adapt to the new things that happen in your field. Things don't stay the same. They are always changing. And so by being a continuous learner, you're able to grow and not get stale. You're able to show that you can keep up with what's going on in your field. Not only are you knowledgeable about what has transpired, but what's up and coming. It's important to adapt to learning. And the reason for this is because you're not always going to have the best conditions given to you for learning. You have to figure out how to set yourself up so that you are providing yourself with the ways in which you absorb information best. You have to make sure that you set yourself up for success by knowing what works for you. It's important as a professional and as a student to attend conferences. By attending conferences, you can network with people who might be your next colleague in terms of a peer at the institution that you will work at, or a peer in the organization that you will work at, or your next supervisor. They could even be your next supervisee. So when you attend conferences, treat it like you're going into a professional setting, which you are, but a professional setting that will allow you to grow in terms of information as well as networking. Networking is important because people have bits and pieces of information that can help you along the way. Not only do they have information that can help you, you have information that can help them as well. So take conferences as an opportunity to exchange information, exchange knowledge, exchange actual contact information, even follow them on LinkedIn if you are really impressed by the work that they are doing, so that you can keep up with them in a way that doesn't require you to necessarily always have to email. Now, it is a good idea to email people who you find at other institutions who are knowledgeable about your work, because in doing so, if you are doing a thesis or a dissertation, you could possibly network yourself into an outside committee member, meaning when you're doing your dissertation, you are generally allowed to have at least one person who is not on your college campus to serve as a committee member. For me, I had an advisor who was at Oklahoma State University. Because I was able to network with the professor and add him to my dissertation committee, he was able to bring the knowledge of the practical application of culture when it comes to instructional technology and instructional design. He was also able to share his knowledge of Ubuntu and understand that what I was trying to convey was indeed valid, as well as challenge me on how it was being conveyed. So Ubuntu is an African philosophy, and my professor from the other university was from Namibia. His home language has a word that is the equivalent of Ubuntu, and he was able to validate the use of Ubuntu in my work, as well as appreciate it as a native speaker of one of the many languages that are amongst African countries. When you attend conferences, take a look at the program, see who's speaking, take a look at the different subject areas, take a look at the different special interest groups. These are called SIGs, and explore the different sessions. Go sit in on others' topics based upon your research interest. And it doesn't necessarily always have to be within your specific field. For example, my specific field is instructional technology, but that didn't keep me from attending other conferences. In addition to conferences, I also attended the dissertation defenses as well as the prospectus defenses of others who were coming through the College of Education. Since the announcements for those defending came through a listserv that I was signed up on, I was able to take a look at the abstracts and titles and the main topics of the dissertations and prospectus of others coming through the College of Education and Human Development at Georgia State. And when I saw something that interests me, I marked my calendar and I attended their prospectus and defenses. As a result of the pandemic, these defenses moved to being virtual. And as a result, I was able to attend many more defenses than I was previously. As a result of attending the prospectus defense of a peer in music education, I was able to learn about daughtering. While her dissertation dealt with Black women composers, I was able to learn about daughtering from her prospectus and look up the information to find out if it could apply to my dissertation. And I was able to actually not only get the book from the library, but download the whole thing. That's one of the best things about Georgia State. They have some of the best resources when it comes to getting information to students in forms that are accessible. And so I was able to download the entire book from the library, review it, and learn how I could apply daughtering to my dissertation work. And as a result, I incorporated daughtering after I actually did my prospectus defense. As a result of attending her prospectus and learning about daughtering from her, I was able to read about daughtering, find out how it applied to my work, and I decided to incorporate it in order to extend my work. For those of you who might be interested in learning about daughtering, please check out Black Feminism in Qualitative Inquiry, a mosaic for writing our daughter's body by Venus E. Evans Winters. When you attend a conference, don't just skim and go to different sessions all willy-nilly. Plan out your day. My recommendation is to attend 2 sessions in the morning and 2 sessions in the evening. Now, they will have sessions that run all day long, but it's easy to get overwhelmed, exhausted, overstimulated by taking in so much information. So my recommendation is really to do 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening. So at the top of the day, or before you go to the conference, figure out what works best for you. Go ahead and take a look at the conference program and figure out whose sessions you want to attend. Now, I got a little smart about it when I decided that there were 2 conferences or 2 sessions that I wanted to attend. At one point, I would split it up, go to one session for the first 45 minutes, and then to another session during the second half so that I could get an idea of what was happening. And if I found that their work was interesting, I would make note of those who presented and reach out to them for more information. As a student, I want to encourage you to take a look at the various ways of getting a hold of information, whether that's doing hands-on projects, whether that's taking a look at different ways of information being presented, whether that's going on Khan Academy or other open educational resources and learning it from them and taking it what you know back to the classroom in order to ensure that you are getting what you need in order to be successful in your class. Thank you for tuning in to the Black Liberation.Tech Podcast, brought to you by Jordan Nuance LLC and hosted by Dr. Renee Jordan. We hope today's episode has inspired you and provided valuable insights to help you navigate your academic and professional journey with confidence and success. Remember to like, subscribe, and share, as well as rate and review the podcast to help it become more discoverable. Whether you're guiding a child through grades 6 through 12, tackling undergraduate or graduate studies, working on a dissertation or thesis, or exploring your career options, this podcast is here to support you every step of the way. Join our community on patreon.com/Black Liberation.Tech and become a member for as low as $5 per month. As a member, you'll enjoy exclusive access to live recordings, impromptu academic and career coaching, and a network of like-minded individuals committed to mutual support and success. Don't forget to follow Black Liberation Tech on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and LinkedIn, or Black Lib Tech on X, formerly known as Twitter. Visit black-liberation.tech for even more information on Dr. Jordan's adventures, available in both English and Spanish. Stay inspired, stay empowered, and keep moving forward. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.